We're live from Times Square today, New York, to be precise. I have Amaki Abebese, and you know it. She's got her hands in a lot of pies. I don't know how to. What's your
Yes,
designation, actually?
I like pies. Okay, most people know me as a TV presenter, but I'm also an actress. I'm a producer. I think those are my main things. Plus, I work behind the scenes in production as well. So I've done it all. At least when it comes to media, it's like I've had a long journey. I realized that 2017 is my 20th year in media. 20th years, come September, 20 years. I got into this at a very young age in London, and I don't know how 20 years has just gone by just like that.
Oh wow, 20 years.
20 years.
I never read anywhere because I've been reading up on you.
But I guess most people, if you do the calculation, I literally got my break in 1997 in TV in London. I used to be at a training facility called YCTV, Youth Culture Television. And that's where, that was when I was interviewing the likes of Harrison Ford. And, later on we had a TV show on BBC Two called Pass the Mic, and I was one of the hosts. And I was a teenager. And then all these years I'm still here. I'm still doing it.
I want to begin this conversation with your acting.
Yes.
Most Ghanaians and your fans all over the world, they know you to be an actor first and foremost. I remember this reaction you got. I saw it on your timeline, and it's not like I'm stalking you.
Oh,
but it's okay.
Don't worry, you can stalk me. It's fine.
So you were right here, Times Square.
Yes,
and, you
right
saw,
there, right there.
right?
Uh-huh.
And Beast of No Nation was on one of the screens.
Had just come out, and it was on the big screens right there in Times Square. Yeah.
I still remember your reaction. I thought it was genuine.
Let me tell you what happened. So that day, I was being a tourist. I like being a tourist. New York is such a beautiful city. So I'm here, and I was with a friend of mine, Terry Oting, and I think we were walking around, just walking, and then he was like, "Yo, have you been to Times Square?" He's Ghanaian, but he's a New Yorker. So he's like, "You been to Times Square?" And I'm like, "Not yet." And he's like, "Yo, let's go." So I'm like, "Yeah." I get to do tourism stuff. Without even thinking, Beast of No Nation was coming out that week, but I didn't know they were playing the trailer in Times Square. So he and I, we come and we're down there, where all the screens are. And I literally get there and I see, I'm like, oh my God! It was a pleasant surprise, and a project that I'm in is beaming up onto that big screen, Netflix, Beast of No Nation, and I was like, wow. And it was a humbling experience because that's Times Square. And it kind of, so it kind of was like, whoa, this is a big deal. And I was just like, so, yes, I was kind of, and so Terry's like, yo, I'm going to film you. So he filmed it, and we put it on Instagram and on my social media. But that was a very humbling experience because when you do projects, when you do films or whatever, a lot of times you don't know how far it's going to go. You don't know. I honestly didn't know at the time we were shooting that the film will create a big star.
Movie.
It was, internationally we consider it a low budget, but it was big budget for Ghana, But just even thinking what is done, the careers is launched. Abraham Atta, going on to be in Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, and just the people that we worked with, and so many people that I've seen come up. So literally, it was just like at the time we were doing this, we didn't know how far this film would go. So it was just amazing, and just even to be sitting here right now with Times Square in the background, I feel like I'm extremely blessed to get to do what I love, and there's no better feeling.
And let's get this one also off the way. Are you Ghanaian or are you British? What are you?
Okay, so I'm Ghanaian. I was born in Ghana, and from the age of 9, my family, my sister and I, we moved to England to join my parents. And for England, the UK is where I really grew up. And obviously, growing up as a Ghanaian child in London, you kind of go through those uncertain, that uncertainty stage, like you're not sure of yourself. And is that, we have this discussion a lot. A lot of times, those of us who are Africans in the diaspora, we go through a cultural, at least an identity phase. How do you identify? Do you identify, well, whether you're born in Europe, you consider the country where you grow up, because that's what you know. And so for me, I feel like I'm a product of Ghana and I'm a product of England. I grew up there, most of my friends are there, but I chose to move back to Ghana a few years ago, and I think it was important for me because I feel like I missed a lot, growing up in London, and it was great when I finally got to go back to Ghana and experience and be in Ghana, because that's also a huge part of me. And it's interesting, the time I wanted to move to Ghana, my parents were both back in London, and they were like, "You're moving to Ghana alone?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, you won't have the support." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm just gonna do it." And I'm glad I did it. It was probably one of the best decisions I made. So I'm a British Ghanaian. I describe myself as both, but I'm born in Ghana. Literally, my name, please, everywhere I go, you can see the Ghana on me. I was going
to mention something about your name, because I feel that over the years you've done really well branding yourself with your name and everything. You would think that for a typical Ghana girl growing up in Europe, you would easily be influenced and affected in a way to go with European names and all of it. But you still kept your native name.
I'm so thankful. Let me tell you something. I'm so thankful, and this is a conversation that I think it needs to be had. Now, I was here for the Pan-African weekend, and we had a Pan-African Women's Forum, and I spoke on it. And one of the things is, I remember growing up in London, I don't have an English name, and I'm very thankful for that. But as a teenager, 13, 14, you're in a system where people can't pronounce your name. So you adopt because you're young, you're growing up, you're not sure of yourself. So I remember, there was a lady I used to work with, and no matter what, this woman could not pronounce Amma. So I used to be like, my name is Amma, A-M-A. She'll be like, Emma. I'm like, no, Amma. And so it got to a point of a lot of people thought my name was Anna, Amma, Emma, and I was like, and when it comes to Abebrese, pronouncing it was a whole different thing. So now a lot of people used to call me Abebreze, and for the longest time, you accept it when people mispronounce your name.
Do you really?
When you're in the Western world.
Oh, right.
But then I remember one time I was like, wait, but they can pronounce names like Schwarzenegger, so they're gonna pronounce my name. So after a while, I was like, initially I was like, oh, maybe my parents should have given me an English name. It would have been easier for me. But I'll tell you a story. When I remember one time watching this film, The Color Purple, which was, this big film. Whoopi Goldberg is in it, Oprah Winfrey is huge. And when the credits was rolling, I was young. I was really, really young. I remember seeing in the credits the name Akosia Busia. Now, I didn't know her then. But literally, I was like, wait, that's a Ghanaian name. There's a Ghanaian with a name which I know is Ghanaian, and she's working. So I remember thinking, even at that young age, was, okay, so somebody has a Ghanaian name working in Hollywood. From that moment, I changed my mind and realized that, you know what, even if they can't pronounce my name, if whatever, that Amake Abebrese is, I'm going to keep it, because I could be Joanne, I don't know, Michaels. That's fine. But for me being Ghanaian, my name is unique. There's, meaning behind it. There's history behind it. And so apart from when I was really young, where I kind of felt pressure, but it's interesting enough though that now if you go and Google Amake Abebrese, I'm the only one. How's that? At least in terms in terms of branding, I'm the only one.
Do you feel fulfilled as an actor? Do you think that you would have possibly made a bigger name if you had stayed back in the UK and not have made a surgeon back to Ghana?
I don't know. I really don't know, because when I was in the UK, I worked for different TV stations. I did some work, but I remember going through the audition stage, auditions in the UK, and for the longest, all I heard was no. For a lot of things I auditioned for, I got no. And sometimes you get crushed. It really crushes your spirit. Like, I'm talented, I'm good enough, But sometimes they're like, sorry, you're not what we're looking for. And it crushed me. But having said that too, I got some yeses. But one of the things it didn't do is it didn't deter me. So when I went to Ghana, and again I went for auditions, and then I started hearing yes, I was like, whoa. So who knows? I always feel like in life everybody's journey is different. Some people they're gonna make it in a certain place. It doesn't matter. For me, it took me going back to Ghana, Sankofa, going back in order for me to really move forward, because I went back to Ghana, I was able to build a brand there, and now when I go back to England or whatever, it's like, oh wow, my brand kind of increased. So for me, I think going to Ghana was a great decision. Who knows if I would have stayed in London, I think I still would have been working in TV and in the media, but maybe not to these levels. That's a hunch I get.
Do you think we should go into talking about how much you got for the Beast of Nations?
Beast of No Nation.
Yes. Because I've read somewhere that you really got paid. How true is that?
You know what they say? Don't talk about money, and what else don't you talk about? To be honest, I'll tell you this. In fact, almost all the projects that I don't do it for money. Money is good. I don't do it meaning that it's not money that will make me do a project. It's something I have to believe in. Yeah, we have to pay our bills. And funny enough, there's times when I've been paid really, really great, and there are times I haven't been paid really great. Anybody in the media will tell you, we've probably all done more freebies. We call it paying our dues. So when it gets a point in life when you're getting paid for what you do, it's nice. It's nice. But there's also a lot of misconceptions out there that people think, ooh, you're getting paid like with 6 zeros. And it's not usually the case. But I don't do movies for what they'll pay me. It has to be something that I believe in, and I'm thankful. So, and Beast of No Nation, the material, the director, the crew, everybody on it was so rich, so solid, and I love that experience, and that's what I want to talk about. Not the money, because money is relative. Even if it's big, maybe you could say it's big, but to somebody else, that's coins. So.
Well, that's true. So what are you working on now? Do you want to tell us? Yeah,
so I'm working on a new film project. It's called The Burial of Kojo, and it actually deals with, the backstory is Galamsey, or what we call illegal mining. And it's about two brothers and their sibling rivalry, but it's a real human story. It's written, and the director is Blitz the Ambassador. He's a Ghanaian musician and filmmaker, and Isaiah Washington, who is very well-known Hollywood actor. He's also one of our producers on it, and he's also a co-star, and I'm a producer on that, and I'm a co-star, so look out for that very soon.
Sounds like something everybody should be looking forward to.
Yes.
Are you also going to see it on the screens in time?
Yo, I pray, please. I pray it happens, Lord. Let's see. But I said a lot of times when we're doing projects, you hope for the best. You have some hits and not such big hits, but with each project, you learn something, you meet new people. Keep it moving.
How about television? I haven't seen you on the screen, so what's the last network you worked with? TV3?
The
morning show TV3?
No, I was Ebony Live TV there in Nigeria. And, I was one of the co-hosts for the international or the diaspora segments, the shows called Moments. Co-hosts in different African countries. So there was Ghana, South Africa, and Kenya, and I was doing one of the co-hosts for Ghana. I've been doing for a while now. Most people know that I'm a producer. Some people don't. So most of the times when you don't see me in front of the cameras, I'm behind the scenes.
Oh, really?
I'm behind the scenes. So yeah, I produce. I do things in the corporate world a lot, corporate videos, that kind of thing. So. Never a dull moment. I'm also a host, and I'm an MC, so I'm MC events and so forth. So, I'm always doing something.
And I'm sure something must have brought you to the States this time around.
Yes.
What are you up to?
I came here.
What have you been up to?
I came here for the Pan-African weekend. It was a whole weekend of activities, which the main event was the Facelist Awards, and this year they honored, amongst others, Beverly Bond, who's behind Black Girls Rock, Reverend Al Sharpton, huge civil rights activist we all know, NBA basketball player Serge Ibaka, and so many others. So it's a Pan-African award show that highlights, the trailblazers in our communities, who are doing amazing things. And on the award's been happening now for 6 years. So I was in, and I had the gracious duty of being the MC or the host for the event. And also, I think I mentioned earlier, I was also a speaker at the Pan-African Women's Forum, which was amazing, just sharing and dialoguing on the theme, changing our story. And I love it because I met so many Pan-African achievers, and it's just interesting that so many times Africans and African Americans, we're all Africans, and just seeing so many of us come together, different people from all over the world. It was an amazing event.
You're also huge on philanthropy. What makes you go into that kind of space?
Because it's just what you do. I honestly don't even like talking too much about, that side of me, because I feel like it's not something you need to promote. You just do it, you do it. It's, you know what I mean? It's not, you don't do it for a pat on your back, because at the end of the day, at some point, we've all needed help. And some of us have been lucky that somebody helped us. Sometimes you feel like nobody helps you. So I feel like it's just your human duty. There's things, I actually don't talk about a lot of that stuff that I do. I only do things that I have to promote. Like, I'm a child safety ambassador for Safe Child Ghana, and the idea is to keep children in Ghana safe. So we do a lot of promotional things with the children, and there's a lot of charity elements about it. But yeah, you help somebody. It's not, you just do it. Or you help a few people. You just do it. You know what I mean? It's not, I just think it's the human thing to do. And if anybody's ever been down, you know that someone helping you it's just what you do. I've literally taken off my clothes and given it to people before. But it's, and I'll just pray that if ever I need, somebody also does it for me. Life is a cycle, so.
Yeah, so we've been told.
Yeah, it is. So, and I think a lot of times people, we're in the age where, it's two ways. You do it, you talk about it, hoping to encourage other people to do it. I do it, and I try not to talk about it in detail, because, Charlie, we are,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Does that make sense?
It does. It pays to be modest too sometimes. But
yeah,
away from that, I want to also ask you about.
I know you want to get juicy. The way I know you want to get juicy.
Okay.
Please, but I'm not juicy.
So you know how I'm driving this.
I know. I'm trying to see.
You know
I'm
all
watching
about
you.
This, don't you.
I'm watching you.
Okay. Maybe I might not even ask it.
Huh?
Maybe I'm not even going to.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid? I'm just joking.
Daring me now.
No, please, I'm not. I'm not daring you. No.
All right. Let's talk about this. I always wanted to talk to somebody like you regarding this very subject. What do you think about Ghanaian celebs and their foray into politics and governance? And I have a specific name in mind.
Okay.
But, I want to have your general opinion on this.
Okay. It's interesting to know. I think what people forget when you're a celebrity or personality is you're human. And I'm sure you also live in a community and you have needs and there's things you want to address. So I'm 100% for anybody, celebrity, civil servant, whatever. If you feel called to politics, go for it. I feel like politics, like anything, they say to whom much is given, much is expected. But are you going into it genuinely? Are you going into it to serve? Are you going into it to try and better? Or are you going into it for money? That's my issue. I don't care who gets into politics, whether you're celebrities, if they want to get into politics, do it. But what is your purpose? Sometimes people get into politics to enrich themselves. And that's the one thing I feel like I have an issue with. if your intentions are right, why not? And are you going to be impactful? Why I feel like celebrities sometimes it's easier is there's already a following. Some celebrities have millions of followers already on social media, and people already pay attention. If you wear a dress somebody doesn't like, they could do an article and say, your dress is horrible, and that's news. So why not use your voice for impact and change? Does that make sense? So I feel like if your intentions are right, by all means, as a celebrity, do it. But if it's the wrong intentions, then that's another story there.
So this one particular gentleman, I'm sure you've had working relations with.
Do you want to
was
say
in
his
the
name?
news. John Dumelo, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah. And I read everything about it. I wasn't in Ghana then, so yeah, I really don't know what really, you know. Do you think it's right for what he did?
I can't speak on, what he did or what he didn't do. But what I can speak on is, I think Reed always says about intentions. I haven't spoken to him about it, so I don't know what his intentions were, and I don't know the full truth to the story. But as of whether he or anybody or myself should get into politics or not, I think that's not the point. I think it's intentions. If you have good intentions, fine. If you don't, then it's between you and the people, if they elect you or the people who are looking up to you. And we live in a world right now where accountability is becoming more and more important. You're going to be accountable. So anything we do is under the microscope. So if you don't have good intentions, at some point, you're going to be exposed. But, when it comes to, John, I said, I don't know what really happened, and it'll be really wrong on me to kind of say, because I don't know, and it's not good to speak out of turn. But yeah, if he wants to get into politics more and more, good for him. Good for him.
Isn't that what we are missing in Africa? Because we feel that, I think, if the notion is that if you're popular, if you look good, then it means that you can govern. Because I hear that he's, for example, looking into the presidency.
But if that's what he wants, and if people feel he's good enough to elect, at the end they say the proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
So if people elect him, hey, I mean, look at what happened to America. Donald Trump, who
What's your
was a
relationship
celebrity.
with him
No.
personally?
John is a good, I guess, an industry acquaintance. I see John. Hey, John is fun. Everybody loves John. I don't know about what he wants to do. You hear things, but I think, he seems ambitious, and whatever he wants to do, I'm sure he'll be successful at. We've worked on at least 2 films together. We've been on panels together. And yeah, I'm sure whatever John puts his mind to, he can be successful.
And I'm sure that my next question is going to sound very familiar with you, because people tend to ask about how the industry in Ghana is doing, and whether or not it still has potential to be like Hollywood or Nollywood. And I don't know what you think sincerely. What do you think? What do you make of the art industry?
What's happening in the Nigerian film industry and Ghana film industry is quite similar. What Nollywood has is that they have volume. So they produce a lot of volume, but Nigeria is a country, of, I think, well over 150 million people. Some people say 200 million people. Ghana is about 26 million. So by share of their numbers, they have volume over Ghana. Hollywood, we don't have systems in place to be like Hollywood yet. We don't. And I think there's no denying that. Our industry is small, is grown, but we have a massively long way to go. But I'm encouraged because there's some amazing talent and filmmakers who do some amazing projects with not even 1% of Hollywood budgets. Not even 1%.
Is that right? Because I've seen movies that were produced possibly in the 60s and 70s. Genesis Chapter X. I'm sure you've seen that.
I haven't actually.
You haven't? It featured Kofi Buckner and I think George Williams and a host of other people. The cast was amazing. The way they spoke and everything. These days you don't have, these new
Okay, but let me
generation
also
actors and everything.
Let me tell
I
you,
feel
those
that,
times, the funding they had, people don't have it no more. You're talking about, a lot of people
I'm
have
not really
said,
looking into the funding aspect of it. I think the quality of the actors
so you think
we
our
have
actors
now,
are not that great?
there's something missing, don't you think so?
I don't think so. I like to think we're pretty fabulous. No, it really depends. And the thing with actors is interesting. I've heard people say, "Oh my God, this person is such a bad actress. They're horrible because they do this." And another person will say, "Hey, that person is an amazing actress because yes, when they do the same thing." Some people say, "Oh, when you're so very emotional and you cry, that means you're a good actor." Some people say, "Well, you're crying all the time. You're not a good actor." I don't know audiences. It really depends. Sometimes your audience can determine what's good or not. So, and there's nothing wrong if you think some of our actors or we're not the best. But I do think, like, for me, any project that I do, I always feel I can do better. I've never done a film where I finish, I'm like, yeah, man, that was great. I always feel like I could have done it this way, I could have done it that way. And I'm always striving to improve. I can't speak about everybody in our industry, but I think the industry is small, is growing. There's a lot of resources we lack, but yet we're still able to produce. And there's, different levels, different production companies doing some really amazing films. Some people also do what we call B movies. Cheap, quick, roll it out, and put it out. And it's for the mass market. There's B movies in Hollywood. And I always feel like with anything, Rome wasn't built in a day. And our Ghana film industry, we can't compare it to Hollywood.
Yeah, but we've been at this since independence.
However, you need to look at the history behind it. Before, the government sponsored a lot of our films. We had Gamma Films. All of those structures are gone. So now film in Ghana is an individual business. It's business people and producers who okay, well, I've got some money, I'm going to do a film. We don't have systems in place. We don't have distribution channels. Piracy is a big problem. So there's a whole chain that even in the 60s, people will tell you it was better in the 60s than now, or in the 70s, because I guess before coups, happened in Ghana, and there was that whole destabilization. Then people things had to be picked up again. So we could go back to the good old days, but the good old days, they had a system in place. Now it's like people doing this based on passion. Almost everybody I know in the film industry.
Really, on passion?
A lot of people. Because people don't make the money they should be making. But they're still doing it. Talk to any film producer. They'll tell you right now, you do a film, the market has spoiled. There's, it's tough. It's tough. So for those even to keep going, I admire them. Sometimes I don't agree with the projects they do. I don't like it. But the fact that they still pull together a team to do films for their audiences, it takes a lot. It takes a lot.
I want you to, share your future with me. How much longer do you think you're going to remain in this business?
Forever. I don't know. I don't know. The good thing about it is, someone always said being an actor is a job that even at 100, you could still be working. Actors don't have a retirement age. You work, because they're always going to need, if a role will require a 90-year-old, a 1-year-old, like acting is as long as you can keep going. So I think for now, I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. Not many careers have that. And I'm just very blessed to be able to do that, where even this interview, in 100 years or more, people can still watch it.
Well, that's true. I intend for people to watch it after I'm gone. Let's talk about this that I also meant to talk to you about. I see that you're very supportive of the local Ghanaian fashion and clothing industry.
African fashion, I love it. I love African designers. Yes, love it.
Is it like...
I'm made in Ghana, made in Nigeria.
Do you
I
get
love
paid doing this?
No, I actually genuinely love it. I've had some little endorsements, not every now and then, but it's the most interesting thing. Today, I literally just had there's a pharmacy just down the road, and I was just picking up some stuff, and some woman stopped me. She's like, "Oh my God, I love your dress. It's so unique. Oh my God." I'm like, "Oh, it's from Ghana, Africa." Girl, I love it, like, because we don't have that here. So I love that it's unique. I love that it represents something. It represents at least part of my culture. And I rep most of the time, I love African designers, and sometimes too it's important that African designs is not just prints. I love wearing prints, but African designers are very unique, and I love to do it because I can promote the big designers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like to promote, especially startups, if I can give them the platform, why not? All this, I've been here. I've been wearing designers. I've been wearing a British Ghanaian designer, Gingham Doll. God, I can't. There's too many. Oh my God, the talent of Africans. I'll be here all day. Too much. Yeah, but I love it, and I make a conscious effort to wear as often as I can. Even sometimes I'm wearing, like, even this watch I'm wearing is by a British Ghanaian, and Vitae London watch, where every watch you buy, a percentage is spent to support a child's education in Africa. And it's a Ghanaian designer. He's British, but he's in a diaspora. There's so many Africans in the diaspora doing so many amazing things. And I love that. And if I can, plug into that, I'm all for that.
Wait, you do so much. You're a very, hardworking woman and everything. At the end of the day, if you need to unwind and, be human again, are you married?
I'm happy. That's what I call it. To answer your question, I'm happy.
That really wasn't my question.
My answer to that is I'm happy. I'm happy. I know I say it like this. I'm in the public eye, but it doesn't mean the man in my life.
You do realize how important companionship is.
Oh, it's important, very amazing. Let me tell you like this. Of course, I have a significant other. I love him very much. But for what I will say is this.
Are you married to this person?
I'm in the public eye. I don't talk about my private life because let me tell you, I'm in the public eye, and just because I'm in the public eye,
significant other would usually suggest that you're married to the person, right? I could be wrong.
I love
I
how
hope I'm not wrong.
You trying to get an exclusive up in here? No, let me tell you why. Just because I'm in the public eye doesn't mean that he wants to be in the public eye. And I think just for privacy, I don't talk about my private life. I'm a public figure, but it doesn't.
I guess what I want to say is what I really want to ask you is:
are
you official with this person? Are you married to this person?
Honey, I'm official in everything I do. Like I'm official sitting here with you right now.
That's for sure.
I'm happy. That's all I'll say. No, I just made a conscious decision early on not to drag my loved ones, because this industry can be very cruel. No, honestly.
Yeah,
people that love you.
Much, yeah.
Like I've had attacks, insults. Everybody has it, and when people love you, they want to fight for you and support you. So that I don't want to bring my family, my sister. No. It's that thing of where, at least for now, I just think that I just don't talk about it. It's but I'm very blessed and I'm happy, and that's about it.
So
I heard you got married recently. I heard you got married. Congratulations! How was it?
This is not supposed to be
I saw your wedding pictures on.
Really, they weren't really wedding pictures. They were engagement pictures.
But in
There's
our culture, engagement is marriage.
Okay.
Do your families sat and agreed?
Yes, of course.
Yes. In our culture, once families meet, you're married. High five! Congratulations.
That's pretty much out there. I don't know about you though. I want to know if it's the same with you, because I talk to a lot of people here in the States and in Ghana that I was going to talk to you, and everybody was like, "Can you ask her if she's married?"
Why did they want to marry me?
You'd be surprised. I mean, you're Amake. Who wouldn't want to marry Amake Abebe?
Oh no, I don't know. For now, I just want to. But does it matter if you're married or not? It doesn't matter. I feel like in our society we make such a big deal of marriage. Marriage is great. I'm not getting it wrong. If you but
So all the
It's-
newspaper publications and blogs, they were lying about you getting married
Which
secretly
ones?
and all of that.
Which ones?
I'm sure you've seen a couple.
You know what I do recently? I don't go online. I found apparently I was on the list of, I don't know, lonely celebrities, some silly list. I don't know. I didn't. You know what? I try not to read. I really try not to read about a lot of stuff.
Well, that's
Like,
not what
and
I
I said,
read.
My
What I
private
read
life is my
was
private
that-
life, and I just
yeah.
choose not to.
And
make
I
a big
respect
deal out
that.
of
Yeah,
it.
but you also realize that you're in the public domain.
But
you're
it's
in the
also
public
what you
eye.
choose to put out there. It's what you choose
A
to
lot
put
of
out
people
there.
also look up to you.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And I don't
I'm
take
not making
it lightly.
it a big deal.
No.
I don't belong to the category of people that think that if you become a woman, the next logical thing is for you to get married.
I've
No,
been
I
a
don't.
woman for a long time.
So that's what I'm
No.
saying.
You know, I think I said I don't take it for granted at all that people look up to me. I feel like it's a responsibility, and I try to conduct myself, and I don't fake it. I'm who I am. I just try to be myself. I just think when it comes to my private life, it's just a conscious decision that I'm in the public eye. I'm the one that, good and bad, it's me. My family, I just choose not to bring them into this space because a lot of times you know how it is. So that's just it. And I think the people who I love and my friends, they know all about my dirt and all my, the good and the bad. But for the public, let's keep it strictly business. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's just my whole thing. But I do think that, and another thing too is I've come to the realization that, listen, everybody has issues and personal issues in their life. And once you put a microscope on it, you open yourself up for people to come into your private business. So I'm not going to open that up. Some people do that and it's fine. I just don't open it up.
It can also be counterproductive because you thinking that you're not trying to open it up, people will still be prying into your life because they're curious.
It's fine,
and
of
you know what they
course.
say about curiosity, right?
It kills the cat, and I'm glad I'm not the cat.
Okay. All right. I know I'm not gonna get anything.
I
from
know,
you
you
so-
tried though, high five.
Wow. But
High
that's
five,
the
you
best.
tried.
That's the best I could do.
You tried.
So folks, don't blame me if
You tried.
didn't get the answer you
But
wanted.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like so blessed and happy. You got the answer.
You
want.
really look happy.
I am.
You're living the life. Look at you. You're living in Times Square.
I'm here with PK in
It's not
Times
like
Square.
no.
Charlie,
It's-
how can I
it's
not
like,
be happy?
Okay.
Are you blushing?
I'm actually blushing. For my kids to be endorsing me like this, of course.
No,
I should be blushing.
I'm loving it.
Okay.
No, I don't take anything for granted. Even the fact that it's like, and I know people are interested, but it's almost like you open a can of worms, you kind of take it there. And some people choose to put everything in their private life out there. It's fine. It's a choice. We all make choices that we live with. But for me, anything to do with my personal life, it's called personal life. I'm going to keep it personal. And then my public life, I'm very open. Most people see me. I'm accessible. But do I want my family accessible? I think they need to be protected. I think.
Okay. There are three things that I'm really passionate about. Actually, recently it's become four. It's the Black Stars, Ghana as a country, my mother, and my wife.
Oh.
I want to tell you, I want to ask you about Ghana. How well do you think we're doing as a country?
Ghana.
Because you are an influencer, and I think that you should have an opinion on how the country is being run and governed at moment. And like I'm saying, you can affect change.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think?
About an hour
we're
ago, I was just in Times Square and we met a
Yeah.
Ghanaian gentleman who works here and we're just talking and he was venting. He was very angry, like Ghana, he was there, things don't work and this and this corrupt and he doesn't want to have anything to do with Ghana and I'm like, okay, you can stay in America and you can vent. There's a lot of issues, even in this country. But you live here and you want to compare Ghana a country that got its independence 60 years ago, not 1957, 60 years ago, to a country which has been built on the back of African American slaves to build. And also, so it's that thing of where a lot of times when you're in the Western world and we vent because we don't see the same things we see in the Western world, Western world in our African countries, you can get frustrated and then nothing. For me, that's why I think it's so important that people in the diaspora go back home, go for a visit. I move back, go move back, get in the system. What resources are you bringing? It's not just money, your talent. There's doctors, lawyers, so many things you can go and go. So if you're not happy about something, I stand here and I vent, and then I don't do anything. If you don't like something, change it. If you don't, be the change you want to see. So I'll be sitting here lying if I say, oh my God, Ghana is perfect. Of course we know it's not perfect. But do I see change? Day by day, yes. Do I see growth day by day? Yes. 60 years of independence. We may have another, I don't know how many years to go until things are how some of us would deem good enough. But one of the things I don't like is to be somewhere and complain. And a lot of people do it. When you're back home, and there's this, and they don't have this, and there's no this, and there's no this. And you can choose to stay in the diaspora. Fine. But don't complain if you're not willing to be part of the change. And I think that's one of the things where, for me, it was important for me to move back to Ghana, live through the doom, so no lights, I've lived through it, been frustrated like everybody else, but I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, because it's home. It's home. And when you're home, every home has issues, and when your home is not good, what do? You start cleaning it up. And sometimes some people think you have to get up and do big things. No. What do you do in your community? Who do you assist in your community? Who are you helping? What organizations are you starting or associating or working with? What? And there's so many things we can do. Because the ground is stronger than the top. Everybody wants to be at the top of the building, but not knowing that all these tall buildings here, what holds them up?
The foundation.
The foundation.
Right?
So, like Ghana, other African countries, yes, there's issues. We can talk about the issues all day. What are the solutions? And even if they say, the government must do that. Okay, if they're not doing it, what do you do? What child in your community do you assist? What mother? What widow? I don't know. This is where I feel like sometimes if all of us were doing things and build it up, because we're the foundation. And so, but I'm hopeful for Ghana. I'm hopeful for the continent of Africa, because every other country I go to, I'm inspired. I see change. I see people. And one thing you can say about Africans is our spirit is something else. Because if you think about the conditions people live in, and they're still smiling every day, I get inspired every day. I count my blessings every day.
Are we also going to see you join the bandwagon of people from the arts, making forays into politics? Are you going to join?
Hey, is it a bandwagon? When you say it like that, it sounds so wrong.
I think it is.
Are you going to join the bandwagon? If I get to a point when I get called,
I mean, no offense to you.
No, don't worry. If I feel a call into politics, I would do it. I would definitely do it, but for me, I feel like politics is about affecting real change, getting things to become better, and because I have some small amount of influence, and I can be able to.
I can tell you that it's not small. You hold some real influence in Ghana.
But that's what. So if I have small, and it is small influence, and I can do something, why wouldn't I do it? Is it because I'm a so-called celebrity that I shouldn't do it? But I do think that if the time comes, and the time could be next week, I don't know, or in 10 years time, I don't know. I would definitely do it because, you know, yeah, and I think the intentions has to be right, and with good intentions, I would definitely would do it.
My very final question is
Yes.
actually just 2 or 3.
You said your final question is 2 or 3. You just love talking to me, don't you?
I mean, come on, you should know this. So, but what do you think about the current president?
I met him.
Wait a minute, did you vote for him?
Did I? Okay, I'm trying to remember. Sorry. Let me not talk about that. Let me not talk
Why
about
not?
that. We'll skip
can
over
share
that.
You can
Let
share
me
that
not-
with me.
You and everybody else. No, let me not talk about that. I'll tell you this. I met him. I think I'd met him in London years ago. Years and years ago. But it was like, hello, hello, handshaking will go away. I was working for a TV station then. But I got to meet him again about 2 weeks ago. His daughters and magazine, Glam Africa magazine, had a ball, and it was a charity ball, and I was the MC for that. And I got to meet him again, very brief. I think, you know, he's a career politician. His father was a, former president. and,
Right, yeah.
you know, he's, I think, been groomed to be a leader his whole life. He seems very passionate about Ghana. And it's so new. Right now, it's so new. I like to think that good things are going to come out. I like to think that, and I'm just, I hope he's able to fulfill his mandate to the people who voted for him. He seems extremely likable. And yeah, let's see how they do. Let's really see how they do. I'd like to think he'll do well for Ghana. But one thing I love though, and I love this, Ghanaians right now are so educated when it comes to the political and election process that if you don't do what Ghanaians expect of you, I have no doubt the Ghanaian people will vote whichever party who don't fulfill a mandate. So that's the one thing I love about Ghana now is, I feel like we have a very good electoral process now compared to other African countries. And let's see how he and the party, they get along.
Okay, and as I said, it was going to be my final questions. So, what should we expect from you in the coming days and weeks and months and years? What's Ama going to be up to?
More
and
films,
this is for your fans.
More films, more TV shows, more Ama. I think I'm usually very bubbly and talkative. I don't see that changing anytime soon. And just more realness, Chale, I'm a bit of a handful, but I'm a fun handful. So my fans should just bear with me. And I really, truly appreciate every single person who has ever supported any film, any project that I do. I don't take it for granted. It's been a long journey. I feel like I'm just getting started. Even though 20 years, but honestly, I feel like I'm about to get started.
That's quite a long time, actually, if you think about it.
I've been blessed. I started young. And I started in London as well. And I like to, I like to be doing more things, in different countries, on the African continent, in Europe, in America, wherever, in Asia, in the world.
In the world.
In the world, as I say this in Times Square. In the world.
Yeah, and I forgot the last question I was going to ask.
He just wants to talk to me. He's finished he finished this interview 30 minutes ago.
I forgot the last question I wanted to ask you. I promise you there's so many things people wanted me to ask you.
We got 1% on the battery, too.
Oh, then let's do this. Okay, wrap up.
Let me just wrap up.
Wrap up, okay. Wrap up.
Change it real fast.
No, wrap
No,
it up.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing more movies from you, and in the coming days and months and years possibly.
Yes.
And you stay beautiful. Thanks for sitting down with me. I hope we get another chance to do this again.
Yes. Thank you, PK Dixon. Thank you. And I like how you try to get personal.
Well, you didn't give me much to chew on.
I
That's-
did. I gave
that's
you
the
an
unfortunate part,
exclusive.
but it's okay.
But you know,
I'm-
it's all love. It's all love.
Okay.
It's
So
all
maybe the next time she will be more willing to open up and tell us about whether or not there's anybody
All
she's
that
hanging with
matters
in
is-
Novotel Times Square.
You got jokes. You got jokes, ain't ya? You got jokes.
We cut that out.
Oh, don't worry. Did you outro? Did you wrap up your thing?
I already did.
You didn't say, oh, hi,
yeah.
this is PK.
So-
yeah. You want
yeah.
outro?
So, folks, this has been another edition of the PK Dixon interviews. Thanks so much, and we're very grateful to you, Ama, for gracing, making me look like a star already, and I appreciate this.
Darling, you
I
are
hope
a star.
I hope thank goodness, and I graciously accept that. I hope I bump into you somewhere in Ghana,
For sure.
and then we'll go eat fufu.
Banku and okra.
Oh, I'm the fufu type.
I'm the Banku.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
So this thing about Ghana jollof and Nigeria jollof.
Ghana all the way. Don't even try it. Why my Nigerian brothers and sisters trying? I've been to Nigeria so many times. They try. But Ghana, you already know. You already know.
Folks,
Please, and I'm saying it, come and see me if you got an issue.
so I think we should put this to bed now. It's Ghana jollof.
All the way.
Yes. I don't care if you think I'm prejudiced. Thank you.
Thank you.